Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Mama, put my guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore. A long black cloud is coming down. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Ooh.
That has a surprise ending. So at this time, I'd like to invite Sharon Sterling, our board president, up to talk about our pledge program. Thank you. Okay.
So it's good to be back home. I had a little trip to California to help my sister, and I'm very thankful to be back with you. And I'm safe. How many of you recognize this? Get it in the mail? All right. And how about this? Using it? Yeah? Good. Well, I love our theme of living with Thanksgiving. It just couldn't be more appropriate for the time of year, the time of our world, and it's just awesome. Thanks and giving. And I've been focusing on that a lot. So a thankful heart is really a great antidote to many challenges in our life. We're all living in a very different flow of our life, and we need everything that we can to help us. Science has even proven that one of the best ways to thrive during any challenge of depression, fear, uncertainty that we face is by focusing on what we are grateful for. Thankfulness is actually the quickest path to joy. It's been proven that when we shift our focus to gratitude, even the chemistry in our brains shifts some. So what a creator we have. Also, we know in CSL that the more we focus on something, it becomes even more prevalent in our lives. I know using the gratitude journal for me that Frances made has helped me look for something new every day to be grateful for, instead of writing the same things over and over. So this exercise and this ritual has increased my awareness and my focus. And thank you, Frances. Oh, thank you. So I'd like to share a couple quotes about gratitude from Charlotte Bonte. Gratitude is a divine emotion. It fills our hearts. And from Amy Collette, gratitude is a powerful catalyst for happiness. It's the spark that lights a fire of joy in our soul. And my last one is from Willie Nelson. And he said, when I started counting my blessings, my whole world turned around. Can you almost hear that song? Terry, we're looking forward to hearing that song. So I'm very grateful for our beloved CSL community. I'm grateful for Frances and her thought-provoking messages and encouraging words for us each week. That can't be easy to come up with each week. I'm so thankful for the music that touches my soul, and I'm thankful for Terry and Christina and Benny that plays the clarinet for us, and Stephen Plummer, Jim Valley, Dane Norman, and others that have blessed us with their music. I am so grateful for that. November is a month that the Board of Trustees makes a budget for the next year. And we use the information that you provide us with on this to create a budget. This determines how we're going to fund and expand our services at CSL, as well as our outreach programs within our community, which we've been loving to do. We are committed to spirit guiding our CSL community to thrive and expand, to reach more people with transformational thoughts, and a community that works for all of us. We seek to become a spiritual home to more people who yearn to be part of a soul community where we all receive and give back. In previous years, our tithes have accounted for about 70% of our CSL budget. The other 30% came from tuition for classes. So when you think about taking a class, you're really supporting, you're gaining knowledge, but you're really supporting the lights being on and our commitments to Frances. The other part of that 30% is from renting our building. Well, guess what? The last 8 months, Zippo from renting our building. And so we have a greater need for our tithes to help fill that space. And I know Spirit will provide. This year, as you let Spirit guide you in your commitment of supporting our beloved community of CSL with your tithe, please place your card of intentional grateful giving in the offering plate by November 15th. We are so grateful for each one of you and for being a vital part. You are such a vital part of our beloved CSL Tacoma community. Thank you.
Great job. So a couple of announcements. We have a practice meditation class. Would you like to talk about that real quick?
Good morning. Beginning this Wednesday, November 4th, we're going to have a Wednesday evening meditation. It begins at 6:30 and runs through 7:30. It's a 6-week program. The cost is $50 for the entire 6 weeks. And we're going to be going over several different modalities of meditation. And in particular, we're going to be using the new book that Deepak Chopra just released. It's called Total Meditation. We're going to be using parts of that book for this experience. So I'd really like to invite you to sign up on our website. It's really nice to have that in the middle of the week, to have kind of a spiritual uplift, a sort of renewal. It's really nice. So I would just like to invite you to participate. Again, it starts this Wednesday, the 4th of November at 6:30. It will be on Zoom, so whoever signs up will get a link, and we'll go from there. So thank you.
Thank you. So there also is a flyer in the front foyer called The Art of the Possible, A Journey into 2021. It tells you about a 2-day workshop that's going to be Tuesday and Wednesday, December 28th and 9th, from 6 to 8:30, 2 days in a row. It's based on a book called The Art of Possibility by Rosamund Stone Zander. And we invite you to get that book and sign up online. We made it a very affordable price for what's almost a retreat. It's $35 for this experience, and we already have 3 signups. So get online and sign up for some of these experiences. that practice meditation class is going to be fabulous. Also, want to say about this new program we're starting, which is called Spiritual Circles. And it was established by Science of Mind magazine. It's totally free. One of our practitioners, Yoshie Wong, has agreed to be the facilitator. It's going to be Saturdays from 10 to 11 starting December 5th. So we'd like you to sign up by, or let me know. I think that we have a newsletter. You can send me an email that you want to participate, because we have to let the magazine know. Because if you sign up, you get a free 6-month subscription to Science of Mind magazine. So it's really a good deal. Free class, free magazine for 6 months. So that's already a good deal, right? For if those of you who subscribe. So anyway, we want you to sign up, and you can talk to Sharon if you're interested, or to myself, and we can put you on the list. And we have to send a list of those who signed up to Science of Mind magazine. So you are enrolled. Anyway, those are the announcements, and we're going to move on into a beautiful song that I had never heard before, that was made popular by Amy Grant and that Christina shared with me, called Heirlooms.
I was 10 years old. I was 10 years old when I started singing this song. I was 13 years old when my grandmother passed, and I had the opportunity to sing this at her service. I did rewrite the second verse so that it went along with our Dia de los Muertos celebration. So it's a little bit different from the original. Up in the attic, down on my knees, lifetimes of boxes lay before me, letters and photographs yellowed with years, some bringing laughter, some bringing tears. Time never changes the memories, the faces of loved ones who bring to me all that I come from, and all that I live for, and all that I'm going to be. My precious family is more than an heirloom to me. You've gone before me, lead me each day. I see you, I feel you leading my way. Stories and memories passed down through years, carry your memory living right here. Time never changes the memory, the moment your love first pierced through me, telling all that I come from, and all that I live for, and all that I'm going to be. My precious family is more than an heirloom to me. listen, my precious family is more than an heirloom to me.
So it's time for our meditation called Remembering Our Ancestors, and we hope it assists you in identifying perhaps the ancestors you'd like to remember today. Matthew?
Close your eyes for a moment. Let's just begin by following our breath. Just allowing ourselves to breathe in. And as we let go of the breath, let's become totally present. Completely present right here, right now, with this moment. And this morning, I would like to invite you to just bring into your consciousness somebody or several people who have passed, who touched your life. Allow them to come into your field of awareness and visualize yourself with your arms open to welcome them here now. And as we do this, I invite you to continue following your breath and allow your breath to fall into beautiful synchronicity with the breath that they had. Knowing that this breath is the same breath that the entire universe takes. It is the breath of divine expression. It is the breath of unfoldment. It is the breath of renewal and restoration. It is the breath that honors the journey and the path of those who came before us. So as you stand there with your arms open, I just invite you to remember your loved ones, your friends, all of those who have passed and walked this path before you. Just notice as you look into their eyes, if there is anything that they would like to say to you. Notice if there's any message that they would like to give you. And as you look back at them, I invite you to be in gratitude. Allow yourself to meet their eyes and to remember how they touched your life, how they touched your soul, how they influenced you and left their beautiful presence that you now carry within you. It is a part of you. Remember the gift that they were in your life. And as you do that, also remember the gift that you were for them. There's this beautiful exchange that happens. We are all gifts to each other. So just being in the moment right here, right now. Just allowing this beautiful exchange to take place. And now as you're in gratitude and you honor those who have passed, I invite you to be in joy. Take into your heart the beautiful gift that they were and hold it there. And then allow it to fade. Allow that piece of them to stay with you. And just be in deep gratitude. And allow that joy to fill you. The memory of them, the essence of them, the gift that they were, to fill every part of your being. So as we come back to the room, I invite you to once again turn to your breath and remember that the pattern of your breath is the very same pattern of the entire universe, of the very breath that they took. And that you get to hold this in your heart and know that you are part of the same system, the same lineage, the same expression of life. So I invite you to open your eyes Look around the room and just open yourself to this wonderful experience today that awaits you. And may you be well.
Thank you. And so we're going to do the little ritual of remembrance in which we write the name of an ancestor on a little piece of paper and drop it in the bowl. And I wanted to just say something about the topic of misappropriation. And this is the term we use to denote the improper borrowing or stealing of traditions or music or art from other cultures. And we want to do this borrowing today, combining both honor and respect, even though we can't specifically ask permission from those from whom we borrow. I hope and trust that this ritual and parts of the Day of the Dead tradition are gifts to us, and gifts that we share with each other today with the utmost honor and respect. So we are celebrating, in your program there's a little bit of the history. This is 3,000 years old as a tradition in pre-Columbian Mesoamerica. And the Aztecs and Mayas and others celebrated, even though the conquest brought in the Spanish culture, the Catholic Church was unable to prevent the culture from continuing to create altars and celebrate Day of the Dead, even though this is also Dia de los Santos, or All Saints Day in Catholic tradition. This is most powerful when done in silence. And so I invite you forward if you haven't already put those names in the bowl, and you can put the name of your ancestor in our bowl of remembrance this morning. And then Christina is going to, you can come up as you, if you didn't get one of those little slips of paper as you come in, there are some here. Thank you. And Christina is going to sing a very popular song for this holiday, which is called La Llorona. Thank you. You may, before you start, let me give them a little background. You may be interested in knowing in how I got involved. About 17 years ago, the new director of Centro Latino was Julio Juan. And he said, wouldn't it be fun to do a Day of the Dead, bring Day of the Dead as a tradition to Tacoma? And I said, yeah. And so he and I and Morgan and Claire Petrich met and created Day of the Dead on 6th Avenue, which is right over here. It involved a parade, art activities preceding it, and people made masks. And boy, we need that now, don't we? So they made masks and other paraphernalia for the parade. And then we had a party afterwards. And the Tacoma Art Museum was so enamored of the celebration. The next year, they hired away one of the staff members from Centro Latino and started doing it at the museum. And so at the museum, you'll see altars, about 25 altars. They're doing it online this year. From now till the 15th of November, you can go online and see the beautiful altars and hear the music that they usually perform. But they are in their 16th year, and I feel like I was the seed of that tradition. So I think you'll enjoy it. And now let's hear La Llorona.
La Llorona means the weeping woman. In English, the words are such. Alas, Llorona, dressed in light blue. Even if it costs my life, I won't stop loving you. I climbed the highest pine tree to see if I could see you. to see if I could spot you. But the pine tree was tender, Llorona. When it saw me cry, it cried. Alas, Llorona, dressed in light blue, even if it costs my life, I won't stop loving you. Ay, de mi Llorona, Llorona de su celeste. Ay, de mi Llorona, Llorona de azul celeste. Y aunque la vida me cuesta, Llorona, no dejaré de quererte. No dejaré de quererte. Me subí a pino más alto, Llorona, a ver si te divisaba. Me subí a pino más alto, Llorona, a ver si te divisaba. Como el pino era tierno, Llorona, al verme llorar, lloraba. Como el pino era tierno, Llorona, al verme llorar, lloraba. Ay, de mi Llorona, Llorona, Llorona de azul celeste. Ay, de mi Llorona, Llorona, Llorona de azul celeste. Y aunque la vida me cuesta, Llorona, no dejaré de quererte. Y aunque la vida me cuesta, Llorona, no dejaré de quererte. No dejaré de quererte. No dejaré. Ay, 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 ay.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Wonderful. So, my message today is thin veils and immortality. And so, we are celebrating infinity in a way today, the infinite possibility. Yesterday, I received an email message from one of our practitioners, Yoshie Wong, who said she'd been out bicycling and she passed by a church and its sign that said live St. Reem at 11 a.m. And she thought, I have never heard of St. Reem. I will have to call Reverend Francis and see if she knows who St. Reem is. And then on her way home, she saw the other side of the sign, which said live stream 11 a.m. service. I got a big laugh out of that. Although I was looking forward to researching St. Reem. Oh. So if you were in Mexico today, you'd be celebrating Day of the Dead. It's the time when they visit cemeteries And of course, when the ancient Mayans believed the veil was thin between the living and those who've passed on. But in these altars, the whole idea, actually, I read a dissertation by a student in Mexico who talked about how the ancient book that was left by the Mayans, Popol Vuh, was actually designed to please the conquistadores. So it didn't really contain any of their astrological secrets. Um, and the altar um, contains those secrets. And I want to thank Cindy Kirtland. She's back there. So let's give her a round of applause for creating this beautiful altar this year. Um, but uh, as you know, the Mayan numerical mathematical system was based on the number 20, and they had the most perfect calendar ever created on Earth. And so the four candles, and then there's a center piece that represents 5 times 4, which is 20. So they left kind of hints of their astronomy and cosmology in the altar as a kind of mnemonic devices. Um, it's hard to find the detailed stories about the Mayans, but they believed in the tree of life and that there were 13 levels of heaven and 8 of the underworld. And that when you died, you went to the underworld, which wasn't hell. It was just kind of trying to go through a period of time when, and then you ascended up to heaven through 13 different dimensions. I often think that they were closer to quantum physics than any culture I know. So, um, anyway, I found it fascinating to study. The marigolds that are on the altar are called flowers for the dead. They're a traditional flower. They also had food to welcome the dead back. And of course, in Mexico and even here, when we do it, a huge party is held to remember ancestors. And people in Mexico are comfortable with the idea that one day death will visit us. There are no words, of course, to take away the pain of losing a loved one. Offering words of caring or empathy is all we can do. But because our society doesn't know how to talk about death, fear of death often is the norm. Woody Allen put it this way. He said, "I'm not afraid of death. I just don't want to be there when it happens." So it's not an unusual experience for the living to hear or see the deceased in either etheric form or in dream state, or even to see the passing of spirit. I know some people who've worked with patients who have died actually see that. Um, I read a dissertation of a woman who wrote a 300-page paper called Lady Blood, which was about her desire to connect with her Guatemalan Mayan ancestors. And she did so in dream work and had experienced deep healing as a result. About a year after my own father passed away, he came to me as I was waking from a dream state and he said, "Ah, there you are." As if he'd been lost in New Mexico where he'd passed and finally found me in Washington State. And my mother came to me in a dream in which she was in Colorado Springs, high in the mountain, in a snowstorm. And she had ridden the bus all the way up into the mountains. And the bus had to stop at a station because it couldn't traverse the roads any further. And so she went into the bus station. It was freezing cold. And she went out on the porch and lit a huge fire. It was almost magical. She lit the fire and the whole place warmed up. And I was really impressed with this dream because when I was a little girl, my family had gone to Seven Falls in Colorado Springs. And to see the falls, you have to ascend these staircases that are against the mountain. And you went up about 6 stories. And my mother got to the third story and she just got frozen, paralyzed in fear. And she finally gathered the courage to descend. But the dream was so unlike my mother. She was a gutsy girl. She had taken the teacher's exam in Missouri when she was 13 years old and started teaching high school English. And so she had always had great courage. Um, but I thought, well, maybe after we die, we work through the fears we've had in life. And there was my mother in Colorado Springs in the high mountains lighting a fire so she could be comfortable in the high altitude. Carl Sandburg wrote a poem about grieving, and he said, "Gather the stars if you wish it so. Gather the songs and keep them. Gather the faces of women. Gather for keeping years and years. And then loosen your hands. Let go. Say goodbye. Let the stars and the songs go. Let the faces and the years go. Loosen your hands and say goodbye." Elizabeth Kubler-Ross wrote about the stages of grieving, which are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and finally acceptance. And while these are steps, they are not necessarily sequential because all of us relate to loss in our own way, some more deeply than others. And as we think today about our ancestors that have died, we must confront our own mortality. Earlier in the week, when Cindy was here decorating the altar, she brought her new puppy, Sela, part Shih Tzu and Maltese. Absolutely adorable. I was in heaven hugging this little dog, and we both remembered her two dogs that had traversed the church often. They were Quizzy and Luna, and Luna just passed away recently. And their pictures are on the altar. And so there's another CSL favorite dog named Bandit that is on the altar as well. And it made me think of this poem by Kate Barnes called Talking to the Dog. When I used to get up in the morning and make some funny noises, jargon, bits of songs, nonsense, I really wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to the dog. But now the dog is dead. No more kempt wolfhound lying asleep on her back with her legs against the wall. I must say goodbye to the prehistoric howling. Goodbye to the look of those yellow eyes. I drop her unfinished dinner onto the compost pile. I wash her bowls and I put them away. I pull the rug over the place where her bed was. And still I hear her just stirring in the next room. It's almost midsummer and the blackberries are flowering in festoons beside the pasture. I will bury her ashes under the crooked pear tree with the fruit already growing among the green leaves. I know that for a long time I will go on hearing her at the door. And for a long time I'll be seeing her out of the corner of my eye. When the wind tracks light through the bending grass, for a long time I will be talking to the dog. What happens to us after we die? This is, of course, one of life's most persistent questions. I think it's important for us to acknowledge that this question is a mystery, that there are so many possible answers. In Science of Mind, we believe in the immortality and eternality of the individual soul living forever and ever. But we also live on through the legacy of our actions, the things we did while we were here in this world. How will we be remembered? What do we leave behind? Who did we love? Rumi, in a translation of his poem by Jonathan Starr, writes, "The secrets of eternity are beyond us. And these puzzling words we cannot understand. Our words and actions take place on this side of the veil. Oh, soul, when the veil is gone, we're gone. It's Day of the Dead, and we honor our ancestors. We are invited to puzzle over the secrets of eternity. We create our own understanding of this eternity, and we enter and exit the world through the same gate. No matter how different each of us lives in the world, the exit is the same for all of us. Our ancestors have preceded us, and they can be our guides to what lies ahead. In their continued presence and through our memories of them, we can be joyful. We're not alone. In some way, they're with us now. So death is the universal meaning maker. It vividly opens the way to compassion and clarity. And I think that much of the good that humans offer up to the world has its origin in the final harvesting we recognize today. All of our ancestors and all of our memories of love. We are reminded that we are all bound together in this place called Earth. And so to close, I'd like you to hold your hands in the air. And I just want you to imagine that these hands are linking together to everyone. Everyone in your household, the people here at CSL. These hands you hold up now hold loved ones' hands. And hand by hand, imaginally, we touch those who are here with us and those who are no longer with us. And hand over hand, we touch all of humankind, which reminds us that our loved ones are no longer with us, but they're in us. They touched us. They're in our DNA. They're in our memories. They're in our stories. They are in the ways we move in the world. So let us go out in the world and carry our loved ones in our hearts. God bless you. And so it is. So we are going to hear the song written by Mark Anthony, who started the Mexican heartthrob of the moment. And it's called Vivir mi vida.
Translation. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to dance. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to live my life. Sometimes the rain comes to clean wounds. Sometimes just a drop can overcome the drought. And why cry? For what? If it hurts bad, forget it. And why suffer? For what? If life is like this, you must live it. I'm going to live in the moment to understand my destiny. I'm going to listen in the silence in order to find my path. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to dance. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to live my life. Voy a reír, voy a bailar, vivir mi vida, la, 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 la. Voy a reír, voy a gozar, vivir mi vida, la, 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 la. A veces llega la lluvia para limpiar las heridas. A veces solo un goto pueda vencer la sequía. ¿Y para qué llorar? ¿Para qué? Si duele una pena se olvida. ¿Y para qué sufrir? ¿Para qué? Si esa es la vida, hay que vivir la, 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 la. Voy reír, voy a bailar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Voy a reír, voy a gozar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Voy a vivir el momento para entender este niño. Voy a escuchar el silencio para encontrar el camino. Y para qué llorar, para qué si duele la pena se olvida. Y para qué sufrir, para qué si es alternativa hay que vivir. Voy a reír, voy a bailar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Voy a reír, voy a gozar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Voy a reír, voy a bailar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. Voy a reír, voy a gozar, vivir mi vida, la 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 la. La 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 la.
So we're going to have an offertory song as well, which is Bring Me to Life. But at this time, we'd like to bless our offering and take up our collection. And so if you would repeat after me, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And so it is.
How can you see into my eyes like open doors, leading you down into my core, where I've become so numb without a soul? My spirit sleeping somewhere cold until you find it there and lead it back home. Wake me up inside, wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the dark. Bid my blood to run before I come undone. Save me from the nothing I've become. Now that I know what I'm without, you can't just leave me. Breathe into me and make me real. Bring me to life. Wake me up inside, wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the dark. Bid my blood to run before I come undone. Save me from the nothing I become. Bring me to life. Bring me to life. Frozen inside, without your love, without your touch, darling. Save me from the dark. Get my blood to run before I come undone. Save me from the nothing I become. Bring me to life. Bring me to
So at this time, I'd like to invite Caroline, Reverend Caroline, to come up and give us our healing prayer. As she does so, just think about something you would like healing for in your own life.
This time together is so precious as we open our hearts, our minds to whatever God has for us and for the healing that is taking place. I speak my word for everyone, for we are truly one. And that whatever the need is, it is being healed right now. So we set aside our doubts and our concerns, knowing that as wonderful manifestations of God, we are healthy, whole, complete, and prosperous. We are well loved by God, and the universe supports us every step of the way. So thank you, God, for the healing that is taking place right here, right now, and continues. And so it is. So it is.
So our prayer of protection is called response. I'll read the phrase and you repeat after me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. So let's stand and join Terry in this original closing song he's written. Let's celebrate our lives.
Let's celebrate our love. Let's find what we're made of. Let's all together give something good. Let's shine and let's shine on. Let's celebrate the sun. Celebrate the one in each other. Shine, shine, shine. Let your spirit shine. Love, love, love. What we're thinking of. Strong, strong, strong. No, we all belong. 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 We all belong.